From friends to lovers, a story of timing. Sometimes, love doesn't come in the form of a dramatic meeting or an intense first kiss. Sometimes it starts quietly, without warning, in the middle of a friendship. It's not the big moments that define it, but the small, unspoken ones. The way someone looks at you when you're laughing at nothing, or the way they're there when you're feeling down, without having to say a word. And that's where it all began for us. We met when we were kids. At first, we didn't think much of each other, just two people thrown together by circumstance. We were in the same group of friends, so naturally we spent time together. We talked about everything and nothing at all. The kind of conversations that are easy, comfortable, no pressure. He was the one who always made me laugh, even when I didn't feel like it. The one who showed up when things weren't going well, never asking for anything in return. It wasn't love. It was just friendship. But as the years went by, things began to change. We didn't notice it at first. The shift that was happening so slowly, so subtly. It was the little moments that added up. The way he would always know what to say when I was upset. The way he would make sure I got home safe, even when it was late, and he had his own things to do. The way his presence started to feel like something I needed. Something that gave me comfort in ways I didn't realize. It wasn't until one day, when everything suddenly clicked, that I saw him differently. We were sitting on the porch, talking about life, as we often did. It was one of those nights where the air was just cool enough to be comfortable, and the streetlights cast a soft glow over everything. I remember looking at him, really looking at him for the first time, and I felt it's something that had always been there, but had stayed buried under the surface for so long. Something that wasn't just friendship anymore. But I didn't say anything. I couldn't. I had no idea what to do with that feeling, or how to put it into words. I thought maybe it was just a phase. Maybe I was imagining it. I was scared of ruining what we had, scared of saying something that would make everything awkward, scared that he didn't feel the same way. So I stayed silent. Time passed. We stayed friends, but something had shifted. I tried to ignore it, tried to push it down, but it was there. Every time he laughed at my jokes or looked at me in a way that made my heart skip a beat, I couldn't deny it anymore. I started to wonder if he felt the same way, if he had been hiding his feelings just like I had been. But I was too afraid to ask, too afraid to make it real. And then one day, the moment finally came. It wasn't planned. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't even perfect. It was just us, sitting there in the same place we always had been. But somehow everything had changed. He looked at me, his eyes soft but steady, and he said, "I think I've loved you for a while now." And just like that, everything fell into place. The words I had been too scared to say were finally out in the open. It felt like a weight lifted off my chest. But at the same time, it was like stepping into something unfamiliar. We had crossed that line from friends to something more, and I wasn't sure what came next. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of questions. Could we still be the same friends we used to be? Would things change between us? Would this love be worth the risk? But somehow, in the midst of the uncertainty, it felt right. Because sometimes, love isn't about rushing into something. It's about timing. It's about being ready when the moment comes, and knowing that you're ready to take the step forward when the time is right. We were ready, not because we had all the answers, but because we had each other. We started dating, and it wasn't as simple as flipping a switch. There were awkward moments where we stumbled, unsure of where to put ourselves now that we were more than just friends. But there were also moments of joy, moments where everything felt just as natural as it had been before. We learned how to love each other in new ways, how to be vulnerable with each other, without the fear of losing what we had built. We learned that friendship is the foundation of everything, and love only grows stronger when it's built on that. Looking back, I realize now that timing was everything. If we had confessed our feelings too soon, we might not have worked. If we had waited too long, we might have missed the chance to be something more. But we didn't need to rush. We needed to grow, to learn to be ready when the moment came. And when it did, it was perfect in its own way. Sometimes love doesn't come with fireworks or grand gestures. Sometimes it starts as a friendship, and over time, it blossoms into something deeper, something more meaningful. And when the time is right, love finds its way to you, quietly but surely. Because sometimes, the best kind of love is the one that's been there all along. I am Lucy, and this is Unsaid Love.